The Rich versus the Poor, the #1 Mindset Difference. Written and published by Mindset Masters Audiobooks. Part 1. The Mindset Divide That Creates Two Worlds. There is a quiet fork in the road that most people never see. A split that determines how someone approaches money, opportunity, risk, effort, discipline, habits, time, and their entire future. On one side of the path stand the people who become wealthy, not always quickly, not always loudly, but predictably. On the other side stand the people who stay stuck, not because they're incapable, but because their thinking traps them. This difference is not talent. It's not luck. It's not intelligence. It's not background. It's not where someone was born or who raised them. The real separation is mindset, specifically, how people think about time. The wealthy think years ahead. The poor think days ahead. The wealthy plant. The poor chase. The wealthy build. The poor react. The wealthy delay pleasure. The poor demand it now. The wealthy see the world as long-term cause and effect. The poor see it as short-term reward and escape. This dynamic shapes every part of life, even outside money. It controls how someone deals with stress, opportunity, responsibility, and loss. It affects confidence, patience, discipline, and how easily someone gets trapped by their impulses. Part 1 exists to break open this difference, to make you see it clearly, almost physically, as if you can walk around it and study it from every angle. Once you understand it, you'll be able to predict who becomes wealthy just by listening to how they talk about time, effort, and responsibility. Let's go deeper. The single shift that changes everything. There are two internal clocks people live by. One is the now clock. The other is the future clock. The now clock is loud, impulsive, emotional, desperate, easily influenced, easily distracted, always rushing, always wanting the fastest relief, the fastest reward, the fastest escape. The future clock is quiet, calm, strategic, not controlled by impulse, not threatened by waiting, not thrown off by discomfort, not manipulated by what everyone else is doing. The wealthy live by the future clock. The poor live by the now clock. This is not a moral judgment. It's a psychological difference in how people perceive time, reward, and pain. The wealthy build habits, investments, and systems that grow over years. The poor build coping mechanisms that relieve stress today. The wealthy ask, where will this put me in 5 years? The poor ask, how will this make me feel right now? When you understand this, you realize wealth is less about money and more about the ability to break free from short-term thinking. How most people end up trapped in short-term survival mode. A lot of people don't choose short-term thinking. They get pushed into it by circumstances. Growing up in chaos. Living paycheck to paycheck. Never seeing long-term planning modeled. Conditioned to expect disappointment. Rewarded only for surviving, not building. Short-term thinking becomes a survival skill. When the brain believes danger is near, bills, instability, uncertainty, it turns off long-term planning. It focuses on today's fires. And when this becomes someone's normal environment, the habit stays even when the danger passes. This is why so many adults are stuck. Their thinking is wired for survival, not strategy. Wealthy people experience stress too, but they respond differently. Instead of reacting, they ask, what actions today reduce tomorrow's stress? That question alone separates lifetimes. The rich build systems. The poor fight problems. Have you ever noticed how wealthy people seem calm even when they're busy? It's not because they have less to worry about. It's because they build systems that prevent chaos. A system is anything that makes your life easier tomorrow. A automatic investing. A budgeting. A weekly review. A skill you practice consistently. A business that grows without you. A routine you follow. A network you maintain. A habit you repeat without thinking. People who think short-term don't build systems. They rely on energy, motivation, and willpower, all of which are unstable. So when something unexpected happens, everything collapses. The wealthy survive bad days because systems do the work even when motivation dies. The poor depend on mood. The wealthy depend on structure. The rich see time as a tool. The poor see time as a threat. To the wealthy, time is leverage. To the poor, time is pressure. The wealthy know that time multiplies effort. The poor feel that time exposes failure. When someone thinks short-term, time feels scary. What if I fail? What if it takes too long? What if nothing changes? What if I waste my time? So they rush toward shortcuts, fast money, fast excitement, fast validation. People who think long-term reverse the logic. If I don't start today, I'm losing the future. If I build this, time will reward me. If I improve a little each week, everything changes. If I wait patiently, better opportunities appear. Time becomes a partner. Short-term thinkers try to outrun time. Long-term thinkers walk with it. The rich strengthen their future self. The poor protect their current self. A wealthy mindset thinks in terms of the future version of themselves. I'm investing for the person I want to become. I'm building skills that future me depends on. I'm doing the hard thing now to make life easier later. A short-term mindset thinks, I need to feel good right now. I'll think about the future later. I'll do it when I'm ready. It's too far to plan ahead. This creates a psychological split. People who nurture their future selves become stronger. People who abandon their future selves stay trapped. The wealthy consistently sacrifice comfort today for confidence tomorrow. The poor sacrifice progress tomorrow for comfort today. The rich measure years. The poor measure days. If you ask a wealthy person how long it took to build their success, you'll hear 5 years. 7 years. A decade. It's been a long game. Ask someone who struggles financially, and you'll hear, I need money by Friday. I need things to work this month. I can't wait that long. That takes too much time. The wealthy build brick by brick. The poor try to build a house in a night. This difference leads to opposite results. A long-term thinkers grow steadily. A short-term thinkers peak and crash. A long-term thinkers stay consistent. A short-term thinkers rely on bursts. A long-term thinkers expect slow progress. A short-term thinkers get discouraged quickly. The wealthy win because they don't quit just because it's slow. The poor quit because slow feels like failure. The wealthy understand that long-term thinking is a skill, not a personality trait. This is important. Long-term thinking isn't something you're born with. It's something you learn by doing. Nobody naturally loves waiting. Nobody naturally loves delayed gratification. Nobody naturally enjoys slow results. Long-term thinking becomes easier only after someone experiences the reward of long-term behavior. For example, a investing feels useless until you see compound growth. A reading feels slow until you feel smarter. A skills feel tedious until they make you money. A saving feels boring until you see freedom. A discipline feels strict until you see results. Once someone feels the payoff, the mindset shifts permanently. The wealthy reach that turning point early. The poor never reach it because they give up before they feel the reward. Your job is to stay in the game long enough for long-term thinking to become instinctive. The rich invest energy into what pays back. The poor invest energy into what feels good. This difference shows up everywhere. Long-term thinkers put energy into a learning, a building, a improving, a saving, a investing, a systems, a discipline, a relationships, a health, a skills, a purpose, a structure, a habits. Short-term thinkers put energy into a comfort, a entertainment, a escape, a social approval, a impulse purchases, a emotion-based decisions, a avoiding discomfort, a reacting instead of planning, a busy work instead of progress. Wealthy people treat energy like a resource. Poor thinkers treat energy like a reaction. When someone uses their energy wisely, the world opens. When they waste it emotionally, the world tightens. You can only become wealthy by thinking in future tense. The moment someone shifts from what feels good now to what builds my future, everything changes. Their behavior changes. Their spending changes. Their saving changes. Their risk tolerance changes. Their relationships change. Their environment changes. Their ambition changes. Their discipline changes. Their self-image changes. Their expectations change. Their results change. Wealth begins in the mind long before it appears in the bank. The wealthy think long-term, not because they are special, but because the long-term view is the only view that leads to stability. The start of your transformation. Part 1 lays the foundation. Rich versus poor is not money. It's mindset. And the mindset difference is time. From here, the remaining parts will break down how long-term thinking affects a habits, a discipline, a risk, a income, a investing, a decision-making, a emotions, a identity, a environment, a wealth-building actions, a legacy and impact. Today, your shift begins. Stop living by the now clock. Start living by the future clock. Because the moment you do, the rest of your life changes direction. Part 2. How identity shapes wealth before habits do. Before someone ever earns their first million. Before they build a business. Before they master investing. Before they create systems. Before they develop discipline. Something happens internally. Something invisible. Something foundational. They form a wealth identity. Not a fantasy. Not delusion. Not pretending. But an inner belief. I am the kind of person who builds a strong financial future. This invisible identity determines everything else. Habits, decisions, opportunities, confidence, discipline, risk tolerance, environment, ambition. People think money starts with strategy, but strategy is secondary. Mindset creates strategy, and identity creates mindset. If someone believes they're not capable, not smart enough, not worthy, not ready, not the type of person who wins, then it doesn't matter what tactics they learn. They will sabotage the process without realizing it. Part 2 exposes the identity divide. The wealthy build identities that support growth. The poor inherit identities that protect comfort. And the impact is enormous. The invisible story running your life. Everyone has an internal story, a silent narrative playing in the background. This is who I am. This is what someone like me can achieve. This is what's possible for me. This is what I deserve. This is how life works. These stories often come from childhood environments, repeated experiences, statements from parents or teachers, early successes or failures, cultural expectations, trauma, fear, social circles, past embarrassment or humiliation, past wins or losses, media influence, lack of exposure to success, limiting beliefs that were never questioned. These stories create a self-image. The self-image creates behavior. The behavior creates results. If the story is weak, the results will be weak. If the story is powerful, the results follow. The wealthy rarely have perfect stories, but they rewrite the story the moment it interferes with their future. Short-term thinkers never update their internal narratives. They live inside outdated versions of themselves. How the poor limit themselves with silent beliefs. People with a poor mindset do not wake up and say, I want to fail financially. I want to stay stuck. I want to stay average. What they do say, quietly, unconsciously, is, I'm not disciplined enough. I wasn't raised like that. Nobody in my family did it. I don't know where to start. I'm not smart enough for investing. I don't want to risk losing what I have. I'll be ready later. I need motivation first. I can't imagine myself being rich. Success is too big for someone like me. These beliefs feel harmless, but they control everything. They dictate decisions. They limit risk-taking. They shrink ambition. They kill consistency. They increase fear. They destroy effort early. They cause self-sabotage when progress starts. When someone believes they are not the type to become wealthy, they stop trying the moment it gets hard. The belief becomes the ceiling. How the rich build their identity differently. Long-term thinkers speak differently. I'll learn it. I'll figure it out. I'll grow into the person who can handle this. I don't need to be perfect to begin. I can improve year after year. I can change my habits. I can develop the discipline I don't yet have. I can decide who I become. This identity is built, not inherited. Wealthy people understand something simple but rare. Identity is not who you are, it's who you consistently decide to become. They don't ask whether they're capable today. They ask whether they're willing to grow into someone capable. That single shift changes the trajectory of a lifetime. The rich protect their self-image like an asset. Poor thinkers protect their comfort. Rich thinkers protect their identity. They remove people who disrespect their growth. They remove environments that reinforce smallness. They remove habits that sabotage self-belief. They remove routines that weaken their confidence. They treat self-image like capital. The more you build it, the more your life expands. The more you ignore it, the more your life contracts. Every wealthy person you admire, business leaders, investors, founders, creators, built a strong identity long before the world believed in them. Their confidence wasn't a result of success. Their success was a result of confidence. This is the greatest misunderstanding people have about wealth. Why people with a poor mindset repeat the same life for years. A poor identity creates loops. Someone tells themselves, "I'm not disciplined." So they don't try strong habits. When they do try, they quit early because their identity doesn't support long-term effort. Then quitting becomes proof. C. I can't stay consistent. The loop strengthens the belief. Or someone believes, I always make money mistakes. So they avoid learning about money. They spend emotionally. They fall behind. Then they point at the damage and say, "See, I told you I'm bad with money." The identity becomes reality. The reality reinforces the identity. Wealthy people break the loop early. They separate identity from behavior. My mistake does not define me. My habits can change. My past doesn't predict my future. I can rewrite who I am. That single thought is freedom. The rich think in terms of possibility. The poor think in terms of limitation. Here's the simplest comparison. Ask a poor thinker how they will achieve something, and they respond with, "It's too hard. I don't have the skills. I don't have money. I'm not ready. I'm not that kind of person." Ask a wealthy thinker, and they respond with, "How do I start small? What skills do I need to learn? What is one step I can take today? What can I remove from my life that's slowing me down? What if I try and adjust instead of giving up?" One mindset looks for doors. The other looks for walls. The wealth mindset is not about unrealistic optimism. It's about believing progress is possible, even if slow, even if imperfect. People who believe progress is possible always find a path. The rich evolve their identity with every level. Every new level of wealth requires a new version of you. The version who becomes consistent. The version who spends intentionally. The version who invests before they feel ready. The version who learns skills instead of complaining. The version who takes responsibility instead of waiting. The version who replaces excuses with systems. The version who sees long-term results instead of short-term emotions. Wealthy people shed parts of themselves that no longer fit their future. Poor thinkers cling to old identities because familiar discomfort feels safer than unfamiliar growth. This is why some people stay stuck even after opportunities appear. They don't fail because the opportunity was too big. They fail because their identity was too small. The rich don't fear change, they expect it. People with a poor mindset view change as threatening. What if I lose stability? What if people judge me? What if I fail? What if I don't recognize myself anymore? What if it takes too much effort? What if it doesn't work? People with a wealthy mindset view change as mandatory. If I stay the same, nothing improves. If I change slowly, I will change consistently. If I become better, results will follow. If I grow, I can handle bigger challenges. If I evolve, my life must evolve with me. The wealthy understand a truth others avoid. Your future requires a different version of you. If you resist that version, you resist the future. The rich internalize responsibility. The poor internalize excuses. This is one of the strongest identity differences. The poor mindset says, "My circumstances control me." The wealthy mindset says, "My decisions control me." People who grow financially adopt internal responsibility. My money is my job. My habits are my job. My knowledge is my job. My discipline is my job. My future is my job. People who stay stuck externalize responsibility. The economy is bad. It's not my fault. I didn't get lucky. Other people had advantages. No one helped me. A wealthy identity forms the moment someone says, "Nobody is coming. I must build this myself." That sentence alone can transform a lifetime. The rich see themselves as the cause. The poor see themselves as the effect. The wealthy believe they influence life. The poor believe life happens to them. The wealthy think in cause and effect. The poor think in blame and escape. Two people can live the same year, same job, same environment, same challenges, and walk away with two different interpretations. One says, "I built momentum." The other says, "Life drained me." It's not the environment, it's the identity interpreting it. Identity is the lens that determines whether life feels empowering or overwhelming. The first real step toward wealth. Wealth begins when you stop asking, "What should I do?" and start asking, "Who must I become?" Because the person you are today cannot create the future you want. If they could, you'd already have it. Wealth is built by the future version of you, and you must grow into that version step by step. This identity shift is the second major difference between rich and poor mindsets. The wealthy believe they can evolve. The poor believe they are fixed. One lives inside possibility. The other lives inside limitation. And this difference quietly predicts a lifetime of outcomes. Part 3. The Psychology of Money. How the Rich Think About Wealth. The biggest financial divide in the world has never been income, education, or opportunity. The real divide is mindset, specifically, how people think about money at the psychological level. In this part, you'll uncover the invisible mental habits that separate wealthy thinkers from struggling thinkers. These patterns appear in daily decisions, emotional reactions, long-term planning, and even identity. Wealth is built in the mind long before it appears in the bank account. Most people try to change their financial life by earning more. Rich thinkers change their inner programming first, then the money follows. The poor think survival, the rich think strategy. A person living in survival mode approaches money reactively. Bills come in, so they pay them. Expenses appear, so they scramble. Problems arise, so they panic. Their relationship with money is short-term, emotional, and urgent. A rich thinker views money strategically. They anticipate, plan, calculate, and position themselves. Instead of reacting to problems, they design systems that prevent problems. Instead of asking, "How do I get through this month?" they ask, "How do I structure my life so next year looks nothing like this year?" This difference is massive. Survival thinking is about the present. Strategic thinking is about the future. Survival drains energy. Strategy compounds energy. The poor often feel they have no choice but to think about survival, yet the mindset itself becomes a cage. When the mind is locked into immediate problems, it cannot see long-term solutions. When the brain operates in fear, it loses the ability to innovate, evaluate, or create. A rich thinker protects their future by refusing to be controlled by the present. The poor see money as a tool for comfort. The rich see money as a tool for freedom. One of the most important mindset shifts is how people define the purpose of money. For poor thinkers, money is used to escape discomfort. They spend to feel better, to relax, to distract themselves, to soothe stress, to avoid feeling behind. Purchases become emotional medicine. This makes money disappear quickly and predictably. For rich thinkers, money serves a different purpose: freedom, choices, breathing room. Wealth is not about spending, it's about expanding life options. Money is a lever, not a bandage. Every dollar is a soldier with a mission. If it isn't serving the future, it isn't serving at all. When money is viewed as comfort, it leaves your life. When money is viewed as freedom, it multiplies. This is why wealthy people delay gratification, not because they like discomfort, but because they want options. They're willing to give up small pleasures now for big freedoms later. Poor thinkers unintentionally trade their future freedom for temporary feelings. The poor avoid money problems. The rich solve money problems. Avoidance is one of the most expensive habits anyone can have. Poor thinkers push away money problems because they feel overwhelming. They avoid checking balances. They avoid making budgets. They avoid facing debts. They avoid asking the hard questions. Each delay compounds stress, making the problem scarier and bigger. Rich thinkers attack problems early, before they grow teeth. They view a problem as a challenge, not a threat. Every financial obstacle is simply data, feedback, information. Where poor thinkers fear the numbers, rich thinkers want the numbers. They want the truth because they know the truth sets them up to win. Avoidance creates long-term pain. Engagement creates long-term growth. The poor wait for problems to shrink. The rich shrink problems by confronting them. The poor think about earning. The rich think about owning. The economy rewards ownership, not labor. Poor thinkers believe that income comes from working more hours or finding a higher paying job. Their entire earning potential is tied to their time and physical effort. This creates a ceiling they can never break. Rich thinkers understand leverage. Money grows when you own systems, assets, equity, intellectual property, or anything that produces value without your constant presence. They focus on building things that make money even when they're sleeping. The poor chase paychecks. The rich build engines. When you think like a wealthy person, you begin asking different questions. What can I build that runs without me? What skill can I turn into a product? What system can I create that generates income repeatedly? What value can I own rather than rent out? When you shift from earning to owning, your financial trajectory changes forever. The poor seek luck. The rich rely on design. Many struggling thinkers believe wealth is primarily luck, being born rich, meeting the right person, landing the right job. They see success as something outside their control, which makes them passive. Rich thinkers believe wealth is the result of design, intentional habits, deliberate choices, and smart positioning. They understand that luck happens most often to people who prepare, build, and stay consistent. Preparation creates opportunity. Opportunity looks like luck. But it isn't luck at all. Rich thinkers design their circumstances. Poor thinkers wait for circumstances to improve. The poor fear investing. The rich fear not investing. To a poor mindset, investing feels dangerous. It feels like gambling. It feels like losing money. They focus on what might go wrong, because their relationship with money is fragile. When every dollar feels scarce, risking any amount feels terrifying. To a rich mindset, not investing feels dangerous. They know that money sitting idle loses value. They understand that the biggest risk in life is relying on a single source of income. They know that true security comes from multiplying money, not hoarding it. The poor cling. The rich grow. The poor think, what if I lose? The rich think, what happens if I change nothing? This is why wealthy people invest early, consistently, and automatically. They remove emotion from the process and let math do the work. The poor think small decisions don't matter. The rich know every decision compounds. Poor thinkers underestimate the power of small habits. They believe only major breakthroughs change life. Because of that belief, their daily decisions lack intention. Rich thinkers view every decision as a small vote for the future self. They know that one good decision rarely changes your life. One bad decision rarely ruins it. But repeated decisions shape everything. Wealth isn't built through big events but through consistent advantage. Tiny, smart financial choices compound over time. Poor thinkers ask, what difference does this make? Rich thinkers ask, what direction does this move me in? One mindset seeks convenience. The other seeks momentum. The poor see wealth as identity. The rich see wealth as skill. This distinction is profound. Poor thinkers often attach their self-worth to their financial situation. If they're broke, they feel like failures. If they're behind, they feel inferior. Because money defines identity, financial problems become emotional wounds. Rich thinkers detach identity from wealth. They understand that money is a skill, something you learn, practice, and refine. If they make mistakes, they adjust instead of shame themselves. If they lose money, they rebuild instead of collapse. They treat wealth building like any other learned ability. When money is identity, you protect your ego. When money is a skill, you improve your habits. This single shift opens the door to growth. The poor think money changes people. The rich think money reveals people. Poor thinkers fear money because they believe it corrupts. They assume that wealthy individuals are greedy, selfish, or arrogant. This belief protects them from the discomfort of wanting more. Rich thinkers understand that money is neutral. It amplifies who you already are. If you're generous, money makes you more generous. If you're irresponsible, money exposes it. If you're disciplined, money rewards it. Poor thinkers stay away from wealth because they fear becoming bad people. Rich thinkers pursue wealth because they know it lets them become more of who they already are. Money is a mirror, not a corrupter. The poor seek validation. The rich seek autonomy. Many people spend money to impress others. Clothes, gadgets, upgrades, luxuries. Their financial goals revolve around perception. They want to be seen a certain way. Rich thinkers spend money to secure autonomy. Their priority is control over their time, their choices, their environment, and their future. They'd rather own their schedule than own luxury items. They'd rather be free than admired. Validation is expensive. Autonomy is priceless. Poor thinkers chase applause. Rich thinkers chase independence. The poor believe money happens to them. The rich believe money comes from them. Poor thinkers feel like victims of their financial circumstances. Life is too expensive. No one pays enough. There are no opportunities. The economy is bad. These statements shift responsibility outward. When you feel powerless, the mind stops searching for solutions. Rich thinkers internalize responsibility. I can build new skills. I can create new opportunities. I can adjust my strategy. I can design a better path. This internal responsibility gives them control. Control creates confidence. Confidence creates progress. Your bank account is a reflection of the stories you tell yourself about money. Change the stories, you change the behavior. Change the behavior, you change your life. Part 4. The Habits of Wealth. Daily actions that create massive results. If mindset is the root of wealth, habits are the engine. Wealthy people don't rise because of one big decision. They rise because of thousands of tiny ones that compound. The divide between the rich and the poor becomes clearest when you examine daily routines. What happens in a person's life every 24 hours determines what happens in their life every 10 years. Small habits build empires. Small habits also destroy them. This part explores the daily behavioral patterns that set wealthy thinkers apart, and why these habits produce momentum while others produce stagnation. The poor live by impulse. The rich live by intention. Most people drift through their days reacting to whatever appears. Messages, moods, cravings, interruptions. Their time is unprotected. Their focus is scattered. Their decisions are emotional instead of intentional. This reactive lifestyle creates stress, inconsistency, and lost opportunities. Rich thinkers treat each day like an investment. They structure it, protect it, and design it to produce results. Their time reflects their priorities. They choose their actions based on goals, not impulses. They ask, where does my time produce the highest return? What should I remove? What must I protect? What aligns with the life I'm building? The poor drift. The rich direct. When your day is built on intention, your life becomes predictable, in the best way. The poor consume, the rich create. A major daily habit difference is where attention goes. Poor thinkers spend their time watching, scrolling, reacting, being entertained. Their mental energy flows outward, toward content made by other people. Rich thinkers spend their time creating, solving problems, building assets, improving skills, producing value. Their energy flows inward toward their goals, not outward toward distractions. Consumption is easy. Creation is powerful. Poor thinkers ask, what can I watch? Rich thinkers ask, what can I build today? Every creator eventually gets paid. Every consumer eventually pays. The poor focus on speed. The rich focus on consistency. Sudden, intense effort is popular. Everyone wants rapid results. But poor thinkers burn bright and burn out. They start strong, stop early, and repeat the cycle over and over. This creates no lasting progress. Rich thinkers embrace consistency over intensity. They know daily effort compounds far beyond bursts of motivation. They would rather improve 1% every day for a year than sprint for a week. Consistency compounds confidence. Confidence compounds success. Small, steady habits beat giant, inconsistent ones every time. The poor hope things will get better. The rich track whether things are getting better. Hope is not a strategy. Poor thinkers rely on emotions to decide whether they are improving. They say things like, "I feel like I'm doing okay. I think I'm saving enough. I believe things will work out." But feelings lie. Data doesn't. Rich thinkers track. They measure savings, investments, habits, productivity, sleep, spending, progress. This turns success into a math problem instead of a guessing game. The poor feel progress. The rich measure progress. What gets measured improves. What gets ignored decays. The poor avoid routine. The rich depend on routine. Poor thinkers see routines as boring or restrictive. They prefer randomness because it feels freer. Ironically, lack of structure leads to chaos, inconsistency, and poor results. Rich thinkers build routines because they understand the truth. Discipline creates freedom. When the essential parts of your day run on autopilot, you have more mental energy for creativity, growth, and decision-making. Their routines protect mindset, energy, focus, health, financial decisions, long-term goals. Freedom doesn't come from avoiding structure. It comes from mastering it. The poor waste downtime. The rich multiply downtime. Everyone has downtime. The difference is how it's used. Poor thinkers waste it with entertainment that fills the moment but empties the future. They see downtime as an escape from responsibility. Rich thinkers use downtime for recovery that prepares them for higher performance. Reading, planning, resting, walking, thinking, learning. They see downtime as preparation for more output. Poor thinkers numb. Rich thinkers recharge. Even relaxation becomes a form of investment when done intentionally. The poor complain daily. The rich evaluate daily. Complaining is a habit. It rewires the mind to spot problems instead of solutions. Poor thinkers use complaints to avoid responsibility. They blame circumstances instead of adjusting strategy. Rich thinkers evaluate instead of complain. They ask, "What went well today? What needs to be improved? Where did I waste time? What lesson did today teach me? How can I make tomorrow more effective?" Complaints produce excuses. Evaluation produces improvement. A day without evaluation is a day without growth. The poor repeat mistakes. The rich upgrade systems. Poor thinkers keep making the same errors. Overspending, procrastinating, binging, quitting early, breaking habits. Because they don't study their behavior, nothing changes. They treat mistakes as unavoidable rather than solvable. Rich thinkers turn mistakes into systems. If something goes wrong once, they fix the cause. If it happens twice, they create a rule to prevent it. They improve routines, environments, and processes until the problem cannot repeat. The poor rely on willpower. The rich rely on systems. Systems beat motivation every single time. The poor think busy equals productive. The rich think results equals productive. Poor thinkers fill their day with tasks. They love feeling busy because business feels like progress. But often, they spend their time on low-value activities. Rich thinkers care only about leverage, activities that produce significant outcomes. They eliminate or automate everything else. Their schedules contain fewer tasks but produce far greater results. Being busy is a trap. Being effective is the goal. Rich thinkers aren't trying to do more. They're trying to move the needle. The poor chase comfort daily. The rich chase improvement daily. The poor subconsciously build routines around comfort. Sleeping in, avoiding challenges, postponing responsibilities, choosing the easiest path. Comfort becomes the default. The rich build routines around growth. They lean into discipline, challenge, skill building, long-term thinking. They pick the hard thing first because they know it expands their capacity. Comfort shrinks people. Improvement expands them. Your daily choices decide the size of your future. The poor avoid hard things. The rich start with hard things. Every day has difficult tasks, conversations, decisions, workouts, studying, deep work. Poor thinkers put them off, hoping they'll feel motivated later. But difficult tasks steal mental energy the longer they are avoided. Rich thinkers tackle the hardest tasks early when focus is strongest. This creates momentum, pride, and progress before the day even starts. The tough tasks get easier when you lead with them. Avoiding difficulty makes life harder. Facing difficulty makes life easier. The poor let emotions decide their habits. The rich let habits decide their emotions. Poor thinkers ask, "Do I feel like doing this?" Rich thinkers ask, "Is this aligned with who I'm becoming?" Feelings are temporary. But wealthy people don't let temporary emotions dictate permanent outcomes. They let habits guide their actions, and those actions eventually shape their emotions in a healthier way. You don't need to feel motivated. You need to feel committed. The poor live for today. The rich live today for tomorrow. Poor thinkers get stuck in immediate gratification. They maximize pleasure now even if it sacrifices the future. Their habits revolve around what feels good today. Rich thinkers optimize today for long-term payoff. They make choices their future self will thank them for: saving, investing, learning, exercising, planning. Their habits compound in the background for years. The future belongs to those who plan for it. Part 5. In this part, we dive deep into the habits and daily choices that separate the rich from the poor. Understanding the mindset difference is crucial, but what truly sets wealthy individuals apart is how they apply their mindset in daily life, consistently turning knowledge into action. Habits that build wealth. The rich understand that wealth is built through disciplined habits and consistent behavior. These habits are not just financial, they are mental, emotional, and practical routines that create the conditions for long-term success. Morning and evening routines. Wealthy individuals approach each day intentionally. Their mornings set the tone, focusing on personal growth, clarity, and planning. Evening routines reinforce reflection, gratitude, and preparation for the next day. Continuous learning. Education does not end with formal schooling. The rich dedicate time daily to reading, attending seminars, listening to audiobooks, and learning from mentors. Knowledge compounds over time, just like money. Goal-oriented behavior. Every action is aligned with long-term goals. Whether it's investing, networking, or skill building, the rich act with purpose, avoiding distractions and impulsive decisions. Time management. Time is the most valuable asset. Wealthy people prioritize high-impact activities, delegate routine tasks, and avoid spending hours on low-value activities. They protect their time as fiercely as their money. Health and energy management. Physical and mental well-being directly impacts productivity. Regular exercise, proper nutrition, and sufficient rest are essential habits for maintaining peak performance. The emotional edge. The rich approach emotions differently. While the poor often react to fear, scarcity, or stress, the wealthy develop emotional intelligence that allows them to make rational decisions under pressure, stay calm during financial uncertainty, leverage challenges as opportunities for growth, maintain long-term focus even during setbacks. This emotional resilience is a product of mindset training and deliberate practice over time. Financial habits of the wealthy. Beyond mental and emotional practices, wealth is reinforced through practical financial habits. Budgeting and cash flow awareness. Rich individuals track income and expenses meticulously, ensuring they live below their means while investing surplus effectively. Investing early and consistently. The wealthy start investing as soon as possible, benefiting from compound interest and long-term growth. They treat money as a tool, not a goal. Diversifying income streams. Relying solely on a salary limits wealth potential. The rich create multiple streams, including investments, businesses, and intellectual property. Avoiding lifestyle inflation. Instead of increasing spending with rising income, wealthy individuals invest the difference, allowing their wealth to grow faster than their expenses. Regular financial reviews. They evaluate portfolios, liabilities, and opportunities consistently, making adjustments to maximize efficiency and minimize risk. The mindset behind action. Habits are the bridge between mindset and results. The rich do not just think differently, they act differently. Key components of this action-oriented mindset include proactivity. Instead of reacting to circumstances, wealthy individuals anticipate, plan, and execute. Responsibility. They take full ownership of financial decisions, successes, and failures. Persistence. Wealth is rarely built overnight. The rich continue despite setbacks, understanding that failure is a temporary learning opportunity. Focus on value creation. Instead of seeking instant gratification, they prioritize activities that create long-term value for themselves and others. Networking and mentorship. Wealthy people build relationships with other successful individuals, learning and sharing insights that accelerate growth. Case study: Habits in action. Consider two individuals, Emma and Jake. Emma dreams of financial freedom but lacks structured routines. She reacts emotionally to spending, rarely tracks expenses, and avoids investing until she has a big chunk of savings. Over time, she struggles to build wealth. Jake, however, has adopted wealth-oriented habits. He wakes early for personal growth, invests consistently, manages cash flow, and surrounds himself with mentors. Over a decade, Jake accumulates substantial wealth and develops the emotional resilience to navigate financial challenges. The difference is clear. Consistent, intentional habits amplify mindset into tangible results. Implementing wealth habits. To start building these habits today. Morning routine. Begin each day with reflection, planning, and personal development. Daily learning. Dedicate at least 30 minutes daily to reading or learning about finance, investing, or personal growth. Set short and long-term goals. Write down clear objectives and break them into actionable steps. Track finances. Record every income and expense, and review weekly. Invest consistently. Start small if necessary, but make investing a non-negotiable part of your routine. Evaluate and adjust. Weekly and monthly reviews help ensure habits remain aligned with goals. Prioritize relationships. Connect with mentors, peers, and communities that reinforce growth-oriented thinking. Key takeaways. Wealthy individuals turn mindset into action through deliberate, disciplined habits. Emotional intelligence and resilience support rational financial decisions. Practical financial habits amplify mindset into consistent wealth accumulation. Consistency, proactivity, and value creation separate the rich from the poor. Starting small, focusing on long-term goals, and reviewing progress regularly ensures sustainable results. By embracing these habits, anyone can begin to bridge the gap between mindset and wealth, creating a foundation for financial freedom and personal growth. Part 6. In this part, we explore the power of financial education and decision-making, the number one tool that separates the rich from the poor. While mindset and habits lay the foundation, knowledge empowers action. Without understanding how money works, even the best intentions can fail. The importance of financial literacy. Financial literacy is more than knowing how to balance a checkbook or pay bills on time. It encompasses understanding wealth creation, investment principles, debt management, and money psychology. The rich invest time in learning, while the poor often avoid it or rely solely on others' advice, leaving them vulnerable to mistakes. Understanding money. Money is a tool. The rich view it as a vehicle to create freedom, influence, and opportunities. The poor may see money primarily as a means to survive or consume. Debt management. Wealthy individuals distinguish between good debt and bad debt. They leverage debt strategically to invest or generate returns while avoiding high-interest consumer debt. Investments and assets. Learning about stocks, bonds, real estate, businesses, and intellectual property allows the rich to make informed decisions that compound wealth. The poor often lack the knowledge to recognize high-potential assets. Taxes and legal structures. Financially successful people understand taxation and use legal structures to optimize returns, protect assets, and reduce unnecessary losses. Risk assessment. Knowledge enables investors to assess risk realistically and take calculated actions rather than acting on fear or speculation. Making informed decisions. Knowledge alone isn't enough. It must translate into smart decisions. Beginners often struggle with information overload or analysis paralysis, which prevents action. The rich learn to apply principles practically. They turn theory into action, making moves that align with long-term objectives. Seek expert advice wisely. They consult mentors, financial advisors, and experienced peers, but always retain control over decisions. Analyze outcomes and learn. Every investment, success, or failure provides data for improvement. Avoid herd mentality. Following the crowd rarely builds wealth. The rich act independently, guided by education and principle rather than hype. The role of mindset in financial learning. The rich approach learning with curiosity, humility, and discipline. Curiosity fuels the desire to explore investments, markets, and business opportunities. Humility allows acknowledgement of what they do not know and the willingness to learn from others. Discipline ensures they follow through with study, planning, and execution. In contrast, the poor may feel intimidated, overwhelmed, or complacent, leading to procrastination and missed opportunities. Habits to build financial education. Read regularly. Books, articles, reports, and trusted online resources create a knowledge base. Focus on investing, business, and personal finance. Take courses and seminars. Structured learning accelerates understanding and exposes beginners to proven strategies. Learn from mentors. Engage with people who have already achieved financial success and study their methods. Practice decision-making. Simulate investment decisions or start small with real money to apply concepts practically. Track and reflect. Keep a journal of financial choices, lessons learned, and areas for improvement. Case study. Knowledge and action. Consider two individuals, Sarah and Tom. Sarah wants to invest but avoids learning about stocks and real estate. She relies on tips from friends and social media. As a result, she makes poor decisions, loses money, and avoids future opportunities. Tom dedicates time daily to financial education. He studies markets, learns the fundamentals of investment, and seeks guidance from mentors. Over time, he identifies profitable opportunities, manages risk effectively, and steadily grows his wealth. The contrast demonstrates that financial knowledge transforms mindset into actionable power. Common pitfalls to avoid. Overconfidence without knowledge leads to reckless investment choices. Analysis paralysis prevents timely action. Balance learning with execution. Ignoring fundamentals like cash flow, diversification, and risk assessment results in avoidable losses. Relying solely on others without understanding principles can be dangerous, even with advisors. Implementing financial education daily. Dedicate at least 30 to 60 minutes daily to studying finance, investments, or economics. Create a learning plan, focusing on one area at a time. Discuss concepts with peers or mentors to reinforce understanding. Apply principles in real-life scenarios, starting small and scaling gradually. Continuously evaluate and adjust strategies based on outcomes and new knowledge. Key takeaways. Financial education is a cornerstone of wealth building. Knowledge empowers informed, strategic decision-making. The rich actively learn, analyze, and apply principles, while the poor often remain passive. Practical application of knowledge is essential. Learning alone does not create wealth. Daily habits of study, reflection, and application compound over time, just like money. By cultivating financial literacy, disciplined decision-making, and curiosity, beginners can begin to emulate the wealthy mindset, translating knowledge into consistent wealth-building action. Part 8. In this part, we explore the role of relationships and networks in wealth creation. While mindset, habits, and financial knowledge are critical, the people you surround yourself with profoundly influence your success. The rich understand that relationships are assets, and they cultivate connections that provide value, insight, and opportunity. In contrast, the poor often limit themselves to their existing social circles, which can reinforce scarcity thinking and hinder growth. The power of strategic relationships. Wealthy individuals recognize that their environment shapes their mindset and opportunities. They seek relationships with people who inspire and challenge. Surrounding themselves with high achievers pushes them to aim higher and adopt better habits. Provide knowledge and guidance. Mentors and advisors offer insights, experience, and practical guidance that accelerates wealth building. Open doors to opportunities. Networks provide access to business deals, investments, partnerships, and career advancements that would be inaccessible alone. Reinforce a growth mindset. Interacting with like-minded, success-oriented people fosters a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. The poor often remain in circles where complaints, limitations, and excuses are normalized, making it difficult to adopt a wealth-oriented mindset. The principle of association. One of the most powerful lessons from psychology and behavioral economics is that you become like the people you spend the most time with. Successful individuals deliberately choose relationships that elevate their thinking and behavior, while avoiding those that drain energy, spread negativity, or reinforce limiting beliefs. Positive influence. Exposure to success-oriented thinking encourages disciplined financial habits and strategic decision-making. Learning by observation. Watching how others handle money, investments, and challenges provides real-life education. Mutual support. Relationships built on reciprocity create win-win opportunities for learning, investing, and business ventures. Networking as a wealth-building tool. The rich treat networking not as casual socializing but as strategic relationship building. Attend high-value events. Seminars, conferences, and workshops attract people with shared ambitions and knowledge. Join mastermind groups. Focus groups of like-minded individuals encourage accountability, learning, and collaboration. Seek mentors and advisors. Experienced guides provide direction, reduce mistakes, and accelerate growth. Build reciprocal relationships. Offer value first. Help others achieve their goals, share knowledge, or connect them with opportunities. Maintain and nurture relationships. Regular communication, appreciation, and engagement keep networks strong and trustworthy. Case study: relationships in action. Consider two individuals, Kevin and Laura. Kevin focuses solely on his own progress and limits his social circle to friends with similar habits. He struggles to access high-value opportunities or gain insights beyond his immediate experience. Laura actively cultivates relationships with mentors, successful peers, and professionals. She shares ideas, seeks feedback, and participates in mastermind groups. Over time, Laura gains access to investment opportunities, business partnerships, and career advancements that significantly accelerate her wealth-building journey. The difference lies in intentional networking and strategic association, which amplifies the rich mindset into real-world advantages. Emotional intelligence in relationships. Beyond strategic networking, the rich excel in emotional intelligence, which strengthens their influence and ability to collaborate. Empathy allows understanding others' needs, creating stronger bonds. Communication ensures ideas, value, and intentions are conveyed clearly. Conflict management enables constructive resolution without damaging relationships. Self-awareness allows recognizing one's strengths and weaknesses in interactions. Emotional intelligence combined with strategic networking ensures that relationships become a powerful lever for wealth creation rather than a source of stress or distraction. Building your wealth network. Identify key influencers. Look for mentors, peers, and thought leaders who align with your financial goals. Invest time and energy. Building meaningful relationships requires commitment. Attend events, reach out consistently, and offer value. Engage in knowledge exchange. Share insights, ask questions, and participate actively in discussions to deepen connections. Diversify your network. Include individuals from different industries, backgrounds, and perspectives to broaden opportunities. Be proactive and intentional. Don't wait for opportunities to come. Seek them out, initiate conversations, and maintain connections. Key takeaways. Relationships are a critical differentiator between the rich and the poor. Wealthy individuals build networks that provide knowledge, opportunity, and motivation. Strategic association amplifies mindset, habits, and financial decisions. Emotional intelligence strengthens relationships and maximizes their value. Intentional networking and mentorship create leverage that accelerates wealth creation. By consciously cultivating your social and professional networks, you leverage the collective wisdom, experience, and resources of others, accelerating your journey from mindset to measurable wealth. Part 9. In this part, we explore the critical role of money management and financial discipline in separating the rich from the poor. While mindset, habits, knowledge, and relationships create the foundation for wealth, the practical application of financial principles determines who actually builds lasting prosperity. The rich understand that control over money is not just about income, but about conscious decision-making, budgeting, and prioritization. The principle of financial discipline. Financial discipline is the consistent ability to make strategic choices with money, balancing present needs with long-term wealth creation. It requires resisting instant gratification, managing expenses, and committing to deliberate, purposeful action. Without discipline, even the most educated, well-connected, or opportunity-rich individuals can squander potential wealth. Key components of financial discipline include living below your means. Wealthy individuals consistently spend less than they earn. While the poor often increase spending as income rises, the rich maintain a controlled lifestyle that allows capital accumulation. Budgeting and tracking. Tracking income and expenses is essential. Budgets are not restrictive. They are tools to ensure financial priorities are met and opportunities for investment are maximized. Saving and investing first. Instead of spending first and saving later, the rich prioritize saving and investing immediately, treating these as non-negotiable financial obligations. Avoiding unnecessary debt. The wealthy distinguish between good debt, which can generate returns, and bad debt, which drains resources. They minimize high-interest consumer debt and leverage debt strategically for growth. Emergency funds. Contingency planning protects against unforeseen events and prevents the need to liquidate investments prematurely, allowing long-term strategies to stay intact. Decision-making in spending. The rich approach spending as a strategic choice, evaluating every financial decision through the lens of long-term value. Does this purchase create value or income? Will it support or hinder long-term goals? Is it a want or a need? In contrast, the poor often make impulsive spending decisions driven by emotions, peer pressure, or societal expectations, which limits the ability to invest and grow wealth. The role of investment discipline. Beyond managing expenses, the rich demonstrate discipline in investing, ensuring their money works for them. Consistent contributions. Whether through retirement accounts, mutual funds, or personal investments, regular contributions compound over time. Diversification. Risk is managed through a diversified portfolio across multiple asset classes, industries, and geographies. Patience and long-term focus. The rich resist impulsive trades and short-term speculation, focusing instead on steady growth and compounding. Rebalancing and monitoring. Portfolios are regularly reviewed to maintain alignment with goals, risk tolerance, and market conditions. Case study. Discipline in action. Consider two individuals, Alex and Jordan. Alex earns a high income but has little financial discipline. He frequently spends on luxury items, ignores budgets, and invests inconsistently. Despite substantial earnings, he struggles to accumulate wealth and frequently faces financial stress. Jordan earns a similar income but applies financial discipline rigorously. He tracks all spending, invests early and consistently, maintains an emergency fund, and evaluates each purchase strategically. Over time, Jordan builds a significant portfolio, achieving financial security and independence. The contrast demonstrates that discipline, not income alone, determines the trajectory of wealth. Creating your financial discipline system. To adopt the rich mindset in money management. Develop a detailed budget. Include income, fixed and variable expenses, savings, and investment contributions. Automate savings and investments. Set up automatic transfers to accounts or investment vehicles to ensure consistency. Set clear spending priorities. Identify high-impact areas for expenditure and limit non-essential spending. Monitor regularly. Review monthly spending and investment growth to ensure alignment with long-term goals. Build accountability. Share financial goals with a trusted mentor, partner, or accountability group to reinforce discipline. Educate yourself. Learn about interest rates, investment strategies, taxes, and financial planning to make informed decisions. Emotional mastery in money. Discipline also requires control over emotions. Resist impulsive decisions. Avoid panic selling during market dips or splurging during financial highs. Focus on long-term goals. Keep attention on wealth accumulation rather than immediate gratification. Overcome scarcity thinking. Develop an abundance mindset to make confident financial choices without fear or anxiety. Use money as a tool. View money as a means to create opportunities, security, and freedom rather than an end in itself. Key takeaways. Financial discipline is essential for transforming mindset into wealth. Living below your means, budgeting, and saving consistently separates the rich from the poor. Strategic spending and disciplined investing maximize growth and reduce risk. Emotional control ensures financial decisions are rational and aligned with long-term objectives. Daily habits and consistent systems compound over time, producing measurable wealth. By mastering financial discipline and decision-making, you translate mindset, knowledge, and habits into tangible wealth, creating security, freedom, and the foundation for generational prosperity. Part 10. In this part, we examine the mindset of opportunity recognition and wealth creation, the defining characteristic that differentiates the rich from the poor. While the previous parts have covered mindset, habits, financial education, relationships, and discipline, the ability to see and act on opportunities where others do not is the ultimate multiplier in wealth building. The mindset of opportunity. The wealthy are consistently scanning the environment for gaps, inefficiencies, and potential value. They see challenges as openings and problems as possibilities. In contrast, the poor often focus on limitations, obstacles, or reasons why something cannot be done. Key traits of opportunity-focused thinking include proactivity. Rather than waiting for opportunities to come, The rich create them. They take initiative in business, investments, and personal development. Optimism with realism. Wealthy individuals maintain a positive outlook but balance it with careful analysis. Optimism fuels action, while realism ensures risk is managed. Problem-solving focus. Opportunities often lie in solving pressing problems for others. The rich identify unmet needs in markets, communities, or industries. Long-term perspective. They evaluate potential returns and impact over years, not days, resisting the temptation of short-term gain. Adaptability. The rich pivot quickly when circumstances change, turning challenges into new avenues for growth. Action-oriented opportunity recognition. Seeing an opportunity is not enough. Acting decisively is what separates wealth creation from missed potential. This requires preparedness. Knowledge, financial resources, and networks position the rich to act quickly when opportunities arise. Calculated risk-taking. Wealthy individuals embrace risk, but it is measured, informed, and strategic, never reckless. Resource leveraging. They use people, money, and information efficiently to maximize the impact of their decisions. Persistence. Many opportunities require repeated effort, negotiation, and refinement before they yield results. Examples of opportunity recognition. Investing. Recognizing undervalued assets, emerging markets, or innovations early allows the rich to capitalize before others catch on. Entrepreneurship. Successful business owners identify gaps in products or services and provide solutions that generate profit and influence. Career advancement. Opportunities for promotion, skill building, or networking are identified and pursued intentionally. Problem solving in daily life. Everyday challenges present opportunities for efficiency, improvement, or monetization. The wealthy maintain a mindset that questions, how can this be better? The role of curiosity and learning. Opportunity recognition is strengthened by continuous learning and intellectual curiosity. The rich consistently stay informed about trends, markets, and industries. Seek knowledge outside their comfort zone. Learn from both successes and failures of others. Observe patterns and connect seemingly unrelated dots. This intellectual vigilance ensures they spot opportunities earlier and act more effectively than those who remain passive or uninformed. Case study. Turning vision into wealth. Consider two individuals, Daniel and Mia. Daniel notices a gap in the market but hesitates, unsure if it is the right time. By the time he acts, competitors have filled the niche, and the opportunity has diminished. Mia notices the same gap and, leveraging her knowledge, network, and resources, acts immediately. She launches a business solution that fills the gap and scales it efficiently. Over time, Mia accumulates significant wealth, while Daniel learns a lesson in hesitation. The lesson is clear. Wealth is not just about seeing opportunities, it's about acting on them decisively and strategically. Practical steps to develop opportunity mindset. Observe your environment. Pay attention to inefficiencies, unmet needs, and trends in your industry, community, or social circles. Expand your knowledge. Continuously study markets, innovations, and economic patterns to spot potential before others. Network strategically. Build relationships that expose you to insights, partnerships, and collaborative opportunities. Experiment and test ideas. Start small to validate concepts, then scale successful ventures or investments. Embrace calculated risks. Assess risk-reward ratios carefully and act decisively when opportunity aligns with strategy. Reflect and adjust. Analyze the results of actions, learn from failures, and refine strategies to seize future opportunities. Mindset shifts for opportunity. From scarcity to abundance. The wealthy see possibilities instead of limitations. Every challenge is a potential gain. From fear to curiosity. Rather than fearing failure, the rich investigate, test, and learn. From passive to proactive. Waiting for luck is replaced by deliberate action and preparation. From short-term thinking to visionary focus. The focus is on lasting wealth and influence, not immediate gratification. Key takeaways. Opportunity recognition is a defining characteristic of the wealthy mindset. Acting decisively and strategically on opportunities converts potential into real wealth. Continuous learning, observation, and curiosity enhance the ability to spot valuable openings. Networks, resources, and preparedness amplify the impact of action. Wealth creation is a combination of mindset, knowledge, relationships, discipline, and timely execution. By mastering the art of identifying and acting on opportunities, beginners and aspiring wealth builders transform knowledge and mindset into tangible, long-term success. Part 11. In this part, we focus on legacy thinking and long-term wealth planning, which separates the rich from the poor. While mindset, habits, knowledge, relationships, discipline, and opportunity recognition drive wealth creation, the wealthy plan beyond their lifetime. They understand that true financial success is not just measured by personal accumulation, but by the impact and sustainability of that wealth over generations. Thinking beyond the present. The rich adopt a long-term perspective in all financial decisions. They do not focus solely on immediate gratification or short-term gains. Instead, they consider sustainability, ensuring that wealth endures through economic cycles, personal life changes, and societal shifts. Generational impact, structuring assets and education to provide opportunities for future generations. Philanthropy and influence, using wealth to create positive social change while reinforcing personal and family values. The poor often operate with a short-term mindset, spending on consumption and focusing on temporary satisfaction rather than long-lasting impact. The wealth of planning. Strategic long-term planning involves several critical components. Estate planning. Structuring assets, wills, trusts, and legal protections ensures that wealth is preserved and passed on efficiently. Investment horizon. Wealthy individuals invest with decades in mind, focusing on growth, compounding, and diversification. Education and mentorship. Teaching financial literacy and instilling disciplined habits in the next generation multiplies the impact of accumulated wealth. Philanthropic vision. Strategic giving strengthens networks, builds influence, and leaves a lasting legacy, while aligning with personal values. Contingency planning. Preparing for emergencies, market downturns, and personal challenges ensures that wealth is protected against unforeseen events. Emotional discipline in long-term planning. The ability to think long-term requires emotional intelligence. Patience. The wealthy understand that compounding requires time and that immediate gratification can derail long-term goals. Self-control. They resist impulsive spending and avoid distractions that diminish the value of careful planning. Adaptability. Adjusting plans in response to new information or changes ensures that strategies remain effective. Without emotional discipline, even substantial wealth can be eroded by poor decisions, mismanagement, or impulsive behavior. Case study. Legacy mindset. Consider two individuals, Paul and Rachel. Paul accumulates wealth through business success but spends it all on luxury and lifestyle. He leaves no strategic planning or guidance for his heirs. While he enjoyed a high standard of living, his wealth does not endure beyond his lifetime. Rachel accumulates wealth with a clear vision for her family and community. She establishes investments, trusts, and financial education programs for her children, while also engaging in strategic philanthropy. Over decades, her wealth continues to grow and positively impact multiple generations. The difference is clear. Wealth without long-term vision is often temporary, while strategic planning ensures sustainability and influence. Building a legacy mindset. Set multi-generational goals. Define what wealth success looks like not just for yourself, but for your family and community. Establish financial systems. Create structures for investing, savings, taxation, and legal protection to preserve and grow assets. Teach and model wealth principles. Share knowledge, habits, and mindset practices with the next generation. Give back strategically. Philanthropy is not only about generosity, it is also about reinforcing values and building influence. Continuously review and adapt. Reassess long-term strategies periodically to align with life changes, market shifts, and personal growth. Key takeaways. Legacy thinking is a hallmark of the wealthy mindset. Long-term wealth planning ensures sustainability, generational impact, and personal influence. Emotional discipline, patience, and adaptability are essential for maintaining and growing wealth over decades. Teaching financial literacy and modeling disciplined behavior multiplies the effect of accumulated wealth. Strategic giving and influence amplify both social and financial impact. By adopting a legacy mindset, you align your actions today with the long-term success of yourself, your family, and your community, transforming wealth into enduring impact. Part 12. In this final part, we bring together all the principles discussed throughout the audiobook and focus on integrating the rich mindset into your daily life, ensuring lasting change and consistent wealth building. By now, we have explored mindset, habits, financial knowledge, relationships, discipline, opportunity recognition, and long-term planning. The true difference between the rich and the poor lies not in knowledge alone, but in action and consistent application of these principles. Integration of mindset and action. Wealth is created when mindset translates into consistent, disciplined action. The rich think differently, but more importantly, they act differently every day. Daily habits. Small, consistent behaviors. Waking early, studying, budgeting, exercising, networking, compound over time into significant advantages. Decision-making frameworks. The wealthy approach choices using structured frameworks, evaluating risks, rewards, alignment with long-term goals, and opportunity costs. Financial systems. Automating savings, investing, and monitoring cash flow ensures that wealth building is systematic rather than dependent on motivation alone. Continuous learning and adaptation. The rich treat learning as a lifelong journey, adjusting strategies based on new information, market changes, and personal growth. The daily application of wealth principles. Morning and evening routines. Structured routines reinforce mindset, productivity, and focus. The rich use mornings for growth and planning and evenings for reflection and preparation. Time as an asset. Wealthy individuals guard their time fiercely, prioritizing high-value activities and avoiding distractions that consume energy without return. Emotional control. Rational decisions, patience, and resilience under pressure are hallmarks of financial and personal success. Networking and mentorship. Relationships are cultivated deliberately, providing guidance, collaboration, and access to opportunities that multiply success. Common mistakes to avoid. Even with knowledge of rich mindset principles, failure often occurs due to inconsistency. Sporadic application of habits and strategies prevents momentum and diminishes compounding benefits. Fear of risk. Avoiding calculated risks limits growth and opportunities. Short-term thinking. Focusing solely on immediate gratification undermines long-term wealth accumulation. Negative associations. Spending time with those who reinforce scarcity, doubt, or poor financial habits can reverse progress. Transforming knowledge into results. To bridge the gap between understanding and execution, the rich commit to daily action. Knowledge is meaningless without consistent execution. Take daily steps aligned with goals. Review and reflect. Weekly and monthly evaluations of habits, finances, and relationships allow course correction and reinforcement. Surround with positive influence. Networks, mentors, and supportive peers reinforce mindset and accelerate learning. Set measurable goals. Break long-term vision into actionable steps and track progress diligently. Leverage resources. Money, time, skills, and connections are all tools to create scalable wealth. The rich versus poor mindset summary. Mindset. The wealthy think in terms of abundance, opportunity, and long-term growth. The poor often focus on scarcity and immediate needs. Habits. Daily routines, discipline, and deliberate habits create a foundation for success. Financial knowledge. Understanding money, investments, and risk empowers confident decisions. Relationships. Strategic networks, mentorship, and collaborations amplify results. Discipline. Controlling spending, investing consistently, and avoiding impulsive decisions build lasting wealth. Opportunity recognition. The rich identify and act on opportunities early and decisively. Legacy thinking. Long-term planning ensures sustainability, generational wealth, and influence. Action plan for integration. Daily growth. Dedicate time each day to personal development, financial education, and goal review. Financial systems. Automate savings and investments to create consistent wealth-building mechanisms. Relationship strategy. Engage in meaningful, growth-oriented networks and mentorships. Opportunity execution. Take informed, strategic action whenever opportunities align with goals. Long-term vision. Focus on sustainability, wealth preservation, and creating a lasting impact. Review and adjust. Reflect on progress regularly and refine strategies for continual improvement. Final thoughts. Wealth is not a product of luck. It is the result of consistent mindset, disciplined action, knowledge, strategic relationships, and long-term planning. The difference between the rich and the poor is not in potential but in the deliberate choices, behaviors, and perspectives adopted daily. By integrating these principles into your life, you are no longer just learning what separates the wealthy from others. You are becoming the type of person who embodies those principles, acts on them consistently, and achieves financial freedom and lasting success. The journey is ongoing, but the foundation is clear. Think like the rich. Act like the rich. Surround yourself with wealth-building influences. Plan for long-term growth and legacy. Consistency in these areas ensures that mindset becomes reality, knowledge becomes action, and effort compounds into true wealth. Written and published by Mindset Masters Audiobooks.